It is hot in Zandvoort, definitely, but we're excited to be here in the Netherlands. Welcome to the DTM. It's the second race weekend of this season, and we've seen some exciting action yesterday and today. Again, we're looking forward to a very, very hot race. And the man who's a pole setter is Ricardo Feller. Ricardo, great job you did in the qualifying. Also, of course, due to the red flag, that was a big plus for you. But now, what are you going to do to defend your pole and to turn it into a victory?
Yeah, I defend the pole and I turn it into a victory.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure it will not be easy. I think that the start will be really important. Try to stay ahead of Thomas, and then we see how it goes. I hope we have the pace. Should look quite good. It's looking quite good right now, so I hope we can keep it up and then end the day hopefully with a win.
But it's also going to be very challenging, right, with the heat. I think the asphalt temperature is 39 degrees and it's so hot, and it's going to be tricky on the material as well, right?
Yeah, that's true. It will be very hot in the car, and also like for tires and brakes it will be quite challenging, but our car can make it, and let's see how it goes.
All right, best of luck, Ricardo. Thank you very much, and here are your commentators.
Thanks very much indeed, Verena. Great to hear from your fourth different pole sitter of 2023, Ricardo Feller, and fourth different brand on pole position as well. In what was a rather truncated session in the end, because a lot of cars, like yesterday, left it late to go out and qualify this morning. And when they did all decide to go out, there are a few exceptions, like Dennis Alston and Thomas Preining again. When they all did go out, there were only about 6 or 7 minutes left on the clock, and then drivers started to set quick lap times, and with less than 3 minutes to go, guess what happened? Red flag. We had 2 cars go off, separate incidents but simultaneously, and Alessio Deleda was one of them that brought about the red flag over at turn 7 and 8, and we also lost Clement Schmidt as well, so it was a mad dash then for pole position. More then down on the grid with Verena.
And I'm here with Thomas Preining. Thank you for the shade. It's always good with the heat. Starting in P2, so you got a smile on your face, so hopefully at the end we're going to see you on the podium.
I hope I can keep the smile, yeah. Yesterday the race pace was very good, so I'm confident we will have a good one, and start will be important, so I hope to keep my position, and then everything is possible.
All right, well, best of luck, Thomas. Thank you so much. It's definitely hot, that's for sure, but they're all keeping their calm, and now we're going to find out to see how Maro Engel is doing. He is the winner of yesterday and today, starting in P3. And let me just check out where he is. Where is he? Maro Engel, there he is. Look, we just managed to find him. That was a lucky one, Maro. So, how are you doing starting from P3 yesterday? The victory, got a good feeling?
Yeah, obviously P3 is a good place to start. Not quite as good as yesterday, but still a good place, especially in this field. So looking forward to the race, and hopefully we can have a good race. It's going to be tough with the success ballast. We know that, especially seeing as it's hot, but we'll give it our best try.
And you always seem so relaxed and so cool, but once you get in there, I mean, we know it's going to be a very challenging race, right? With all the heat and everything. I mean, it's probably one of the most challenging racetracks in the calendar, but it's also, most drivers love it. Is it one of your favorite tracks?
Yeah, absolutely. On the DTM calendar, it's probably my favorite, not just because of yesterday, but already before, and I think most of the grid would probably agree. It just has a nice flow to it, and I mean, when it's weather like this and full grandstands, the beach next door, what more can you ask?
It almost feels like holiday, not even like work, right?
Yeah, well, at least we had a nice dinner at the beach last night, so that was good.
Sounds good. All right, well, best of luck for the race. And now here are your commentators.
Thanks very much, Verena. Yeah, great to hear from Maro Engel, having a superb weekend. He wasn't sure whether or not to invite his wife along this weekend. They checked the forecast, they saw it was going to be sunny, and she came across with him, and just as well, because he's had his best day so far in the DTM. From Pereira then, with a third-place finish yesterday, enough to put him into the championship lead, or back into the championship lead after his round 1 win at Oschersleben. But with that, as Maro was saying, comes success ballast. The top 3 in the previous race have to carry success ballast, and Maro, as the winner of the race yesterday, gets 20 kilograms of success ballast added to his car. But luckily, he's had a good qualifying. He'll be third on the grid for that one. Sheldon van der Linde, who was second yesterday, gets 10 kilograms onto his car, but he did not have a good qualifying. He's back in 17th spot on the grid. And from Pereira, likewise, he's even further back down on the grid, 1 place behind Sheldon van der Linde. He's third yesterday, so gets 5 kilograms of success ballast. We saw Lauren Heinrich there trying to take shade. He had a good qualifying in 5th place. You heard from Thomas Preining, who got his lap in early and was actually, been out of the car for about 10 minutes by the time the race session got restarted for the final 3 minutes. Slipped from pole to second, but that's where he'll start for this race as we go back to the grid and to Verena.
And the best BMW in the field is Marco Wittmann, starting in P7. He's still chatting away, but let me just politely interrupt, because obviously we need to know what his strategy is going to be in order to push forward. Sorry to interrupt you guys. Marco, coming from P7, I mean, it's a very tricky racetrack, that's for sure. It's also got a lot of the ups and the downs, so how are you going to manage? How tough is the race going to be?
Will be a tough race, especially a hot race, as it's sunny, it's very warm outside, so we'll be definitely hot in the car. And yeah, I mean, we saw that it's pretty difficult to overtake here, so it's all about the right strategy, the right calls, the good pit stop timing. So let's see what we can do here. I think we had a good race car yesterday and a good pace, and hopefully we can have something similar today.
Hopefully, crossing the fingers. One more thing about the racetrack. A lot of it is new, so as a race driver, how does it feel, the new track?
Honestly, I like the old spec more. I think it looks very cool with the banking on the TV, but from the driving perspective, I would say the old track, I mean, these only are 2 corners, turn 3 and the last corner, were a bit more tricky to handle. But still, I mean, Zandvoort is a nice track. You don't have a lot of runoff areas. It's a proper driver's track, old school track, so definitely one of my favorite ones.
And with a good result, hopefully it's going to be one of your favorite tracks?
Let's see.
All right. Best of luck, Marco. Thank you very much. And now we are eager to get racing, so here are your commentators. Do enjoy the race.
Thanks very much indeed, Verena. Reek down there on the grid. You heard from Marco Wittmann, who was one of the stars of the race yesterday, trying his absolute best in the first half of the race to get 2nd place away from Sheldon van der Linde. Lost time in the pits. We got the data through from the pit stops, and whereas the quickest pit stop, once again, were Team Winwood with Lucas Auer getting a 6.1 second pit stop yesterday, and lots of them getting 7, 8 second pit stops. It was 10 seconds, I'm afraid, for Marco and Project One. That dropped him back into the battle for 4th place with Mirko Bortolotti. Mirko, who got his pit stop done early on tyres that were warmer than the BMW driver, managed to get ahead of him as out of the pits came Marco Wittmann, and then Marco came back at him trying to get that 4th place back, but was ultimately unsuccessful in doing so. Try as he might around the outside, around the inside, he couldn't quite do it. So 5th place, the best result of the season for him and for Project One so far, but tinged with disappointment because there was more on the cards for him there. And there is Mirko Bortolotti. He pulled off that great move and a really important move as well to get through on him and finish in 4th place, just off the podium behind his teammate. So Chris Hartley here in the commentary box to talk you through the action that's coming up in a few minutes' time. And alongside me as ever, it is a very good afternoon to Brian Oliver.
Good afternoon, Chris. Blimey, it's hot in here today, isn't it? So good to be by the seaside here at Zandvoort. Party atmosphere here, all over the circuit. Wonderful.
Yeah, it's a smidgen under 30 degrees. In the cockpits of those cars, add 30. It's going to be double the temperature, 60 degrees. No wonder these drivers are superhuman and super fit. And the track temperature, hottest it's been all weekend long by some degrees. It's nearly 47 degrees, the track temperature. Pretty abrasive circuit this as well. So the tyres and the strategy is something that they're going to have to think about with these Pirelli tyres. They've got the mandatory pit stop between the 20th and 40th minute in the race as well. And yesterday, Brian, we saw how critical those pit stops are. Just a couple of seconds lost can make a huge difference, can't they, as it did to Marco Wittmann yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely. Temperature, everything, really critical.
So the drivers into the cars now, getting ready to go racing for the 2nd time this weekend, strapping up their helmets. Ricardo Feller on pole position this morning. He was the one that made the big improvement when he went back out. There were 3 minutes after the red flag. So 1 lap it was effectively, a 1-lap shootout, and he was the only one that made a big improvement. He went from 4th to 1st. Had a great drive. It's great strategy as well. Speaking to Ricardo and the team after that qualifying session this morning, and they weren't sure with all the rule changes this this year, whether you were allowed to go straight to the end of the pit lane. And so very, very quickly checked the rules, managed to do that, managed to get him to the front of the queue. And because he was at the front of the queue, he didn't have to worry about getting track position. He didn't have to worry about weaving around and getting temperature into the tyres. He could do what he wanted to. He had the track to himself, and he was able to just nick past Thomas Preining to get himself that pole position for this second race of the weekend here at Zandvoort. So here we are at beautiful Zandvoort, just a stone's throw from the beach here. And there you can see the long golden strip of sand here. And the area hugely popular anyway, but particularly on DTM Race weekends. We've got a bumper crowd here ready for the second race of the weekend and the fourth round of the championship. Are we going to get a fourth different race winner in terms of the championship after the points from qualifying from Pereira? After yesterday's race, he's on 48 points now, the championship leader. Tim Heinemann still second on 42. And Thomas Preining up to third now on 35 points. Let's take a look at the circuit then. It's 4.259 kilometres around. It's hugely undulating. There's an opportunity to overtake into turn one at Tarzan, but as Paul de Resta found out in 2007, it could all go wrong on the exit there as well as it tightens up. Through there, then you go through the S-bend section down toward turn 3, one of the new remodelled corners that was changed in 2020. The banking here at the various corners ranges from 8 to 19 degrees. There are various banked circuits as well, banked corners here at the circuit, including the last corner, Arie Luijendijk turn, named after the two-time Indy 500 winner, the Dutch legend, and that is super steep at 18 degrees, and the cars can just adhere to the tarmac around there and go absolutely flat out around that final turn. Here's the grid then. Ricardo Feller and Thomas Preining on the front row of the grid in Audi and Porsche respectively. Yesterday's winner, but with success ballast, Maro Engel and Patrick Niederhauser with his best qualifying to date. Lauren Heinrich 5th and Lukas Stoltz in 6th place. Best qualifying of the year for both of them as well. Marco Wittmann slightly lower down than yesterday, but it'll be a factor today. Ian Nguyen looking for his best result of the season so far as well. From the fourth row with Olsen and Kelvin van der Linde rounding out the top 10. The first Ferrari is Albert Costa, and then Christian Engelhardt, who started the weekend second in the championship in the Porsche, starts next on row 7. Luca Engstler and Dries van Ter did a good job yesterday standing in for René Rast, got himself into the top 8. Lucas Auer and Tim Heinemann, 2 to watch here from the 8th row of the grid. Very quick drivers. Sheldon van der Linde, the reigning champion, the championship leader, back in 17th and 18th after that qualifying session this morning. Mirko Bortolotti has been a consistent point scorer this year, but has to come from 19th. Arjun Moni's alongside him. David Schumacher retired yesterday with a puncture. Mattia Drudi starts alongside him, 22nd on the grid. Thierry Vermeulen retired yesterday from his home race. Mick Wiesover has been fairly quiet this weekend, needs a good run here. Alessio De Leda lost his best lap time for causing the red flag in qualifying. Clement Schmidt went off the road as well. And then final row of the grid, because he was disqualified on a technicality from qualifying this morning, was Joseph Vega, who has been a consistent point scorer in all 3 races so far this season. So he's going to try potentially something different on strategy here for the pit stop. Yesterday, the pit stops, Brian, were all fairly early on in that 20-minute window, weren't they, by and large?
They were, and it is a big strategy game, when to bring the driver in, when to get them out onto open track, when to use fresh rubber, when to use used rubber. So many different parts of the equation. Of course, with the heat as well, looking after the car, looking after the tyres. I think the pit stop strategy the race could be won or lost on pit stop strategy today.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right, because it is, as I say, it's more easy to overtake in the pit lane than it is, and the pit stops, than it is on the track here. And it won't be for the want of trying those. We saw yesterday from the likes of Marco Wittmann. Albert Costa was getting his elbows out as well. He's been a real star this weekend. Albert qualifying in 5th place yesterday, getting in the points in the top 10. He knows the team from GT Masters racing with them, but when he's raced with Emil Frey in the past, it's been in a Lamborghini, not this new Ferrari for the season. He's already had a great year. He's one of the front runners in the World Endurance Championship in the LMP2 category, and was the LMP2 winner at Le Mans just a few weeks ago. And it's football star Jean-Marie Pfaff, the former Belgian national goalkeeper, that holds aloft the Start Your Engines board for this second race, our latest guest starter. And there the engines roaring to life. The last personnel now cleared from the grid. There's a great overhead shot there of the huge grandstand that overlooks the start-finish line here at this circuit. Luckily for all of the fans in that grandstand, they're under the cover of the roof and in the shade shade because it is mighty hot out there. It's going to be a physically demanding race for the drivers. It reminds me, this, Brian, of Imola last year in terms of the sorts of temperatures we've got. And at Imola last year, there was a little blue Audi on pole position and a Swiss driver called Riccardo Fella on pole, and he went on to win the race. I reminded him of that this morning. I said, last time you were on pole, you won in the DTM. He said, yeah, and actually, I've been on pole here in GT Masters and in the GT World Challenge at Zandvoort, and I won both of those as well, so it bodes well, doesn't it?
Well, it says that Riccardo Fella doesn't like giving up leads very easily, does he? And he does like these hot conditions. In Imola, I remember he was thriving. This is a very different kind of circuit at Imola, though, with the big banked corners, a whole different ball game. But Riccardo Fella, he knows how to drive this circuit. He's done it many times before in GT Masters. He is going to take some stopping from the front. Good to see Audi back up front again.
Yeah, there's been some BOP changes overnight, so the Audis have become significantly lighter, 20 kilograms lighter, which has helped them out. There have been a few tweaks to most of the other brands as well, 5 kilograms here or there. The Lamborghinis have stayed similar, but you have to say the BOP has been pretty good so far. I know everybody in a team and a brand is always going to have rounds where they disagree with it, but by and large, in the top 6, the top 7 of race results so far this season, we've had a real good mix of different brands. And up there at the moment, you've got an Audi on pole position, Riccardo Fella, a Porsche, Thomas Preining second, and then a Mercedes, Maro Engel third, and another Audi with Patrick Niederhauser doing a really good job this morning in qualifying fourth. He's going to be one to watch, Patrick. You know him from commentating on him in GT Masters. He was unlucky yesterday, as was Kelvin van der Linde. They both picked up early race penalties for being out of position at the start of the race.
Yes, attracting the attention of the stewards and visiting the penalty box. That's going to ruin anybody's afternoon. Talking about brands, Lamborghini, the one brand that's not done very well. Our highest placed Lamborghini is Frank Pereira in the bottom third of the pack. So the Lamborghinis perhaps not enjoying their success as much today as they even did yesterday.
Yeah, it's not necessarily that the cars aren't as quick as they were yesterday. It's just that truncated qualifying session meant that a lot of drivers were about to get their fast laps or were on fast laps when the session got stopped. You only got one chance to set a time after that, and really you need 2 laps to have a go at it in qualifying. So there were improvements. I mean, Sheldon van der Linde, he's back in 17th spot on the grid, but he was stone last with a few seconds to go, wasn't he?
Yeah, and it was a real white knuckle ride because he was lucky to get as far as he did. One mistake and he could have been in all sorts of trouble.
Absolutely right, but he's not going to be happy where he is. The teams for now have done all that they can. There is Manthey, but of course they'll have one eye and one thought towards those pit stops, which are going to be critical as well. As a man who knows how to win in DTM, Martin Tomczyk gives us a quick wink now in his new role with the AB Sportsline team. So here we go. We've got some great onboard action for you as well from various cars, including Patrick Niederhauser. So Brian Oliver and Chris Hartley here to talk you through the start of the race, the second race of the weekend, round 4 of DTM 2023. Riccardo Fella and Thomas Preining on the front row of the grid. Maro Engel right behind them as the lights go out. They go green. It looks like a good start for the Audi. Riccardo Fella. Preining's got a good start, but Maro Engel is coming up the inside of him, and Engel goes into second place with a great dive at the inside of the Porsche of Thomas Preining. So Preining dropped back one. I think Niederhauser is there battling further back for 5th place. He's lost a position, in fact. So Lauren Heinrich has gained one up to 4th position, and I think a place gained for Marco Wittmann as well. He's up to 6th place from 7th on the grid. They're making their way through the banking for the first time. Exit turn 3, climb up to turn 4, and then drop downhill to turn 5. Then it's another rise up over the crest as they come to Rob Slottermacher and turn 6. The cars go light there. There's one car with damage to the bonnet already coming through, shot there. And it's Lucas Auer with problems, I'm afraid. The driver that was second in the championship last year in the Mercedes is beginning to tumble down the order as he loses 1, 2, 3 more places. And I'm afraid it looks like Lugi is bound for the pits after a good 6th place finish yesterday. It's a real shame for Lugi. He's battling to come back from injury after his huge crash at IMSA at the start of the year, and an incident involving Lucas Auer is going to be investigated by the stewards as this race goes on. But otherwise, Brian, perfect start for Riccardo Fella.
Yeah, great start. He knows how to do it, and he's already just opened up a bit of a gap at the front. Keep an eye on Albert Costa Balboa. He has been monstering it from the word go. He's already been challenging Einchan Guven. He's trying to move his way further forwards, but that man in the Ferrari looking to make progress after poor qualifying, Christian Engelhardt. What a bit of contact there from Sheldon van der Linde.
Yeah, Tim Heinemann diving at the inside of his teammate as well. They were the top 2 in the championship coming into this weekend, Heinemann and Engelhardt. But Christian's had a tough weekend so far. So at the end of lap 1, it's Fella in the lead. by over a second, in fact, from Maro Engel. Thomas Preining in third, Lauren Heinrich in fourth, Patrick Niederhauser and Marco Wittmann round at the top. 6 on board with Sheldon van der Linde trying the outside route here. Got Thierry Vermeulen's Ferrari in the battles as well. Sheldon's gained a couple of places up to 15th at the end of that first lap of the race, but into the pits, I'm afraid, with damage to the bonnet at the front of the Mercedes comes the windward car of Lucas Auer. Will he be able to get back out again? No, I'm afraid he's headed straight for the garage and straight into retirement.
Oh, there's challenges going further back. Was that Marco Wittmann? Someone behind Patrick Niederhauser putting the heat on as well. It is incredibly close, but Ricardo Feller, look at the size of that lead he has already after just one lap. Here's Patrick Niederhauser riding on board with him, staring at the back of the Porsche. In front of it is Lauren Heinrich in front of him. Heinrich, who had a great qualifying session, but Patrick Niederhauser in that Audi is looking very rapid indeed. Thomas Preining quickest in Sector 1 though, the third place Porsche.
Yeah, yes, I noticed he pulled away from the Porsche of Heinrich, hasn't he? So giving himself a bit of breathing space here as they make their way through the chicane at turns 11 and 12. The circuit really falls away and he's banked as well through turn 12, the exit there, so you can hack the cars up on the inside there and get plenty of grip. And then into the 90-degree right-hander at turn 13, you begin to build up the speed through this flat-out banked turn at turn 14 as well. So they're all on a charge through there now. As over the curbs goes Tim Heidemann, and Sheldon van der Linde draws alongside him, and the champion of 2022 is going to get through before they even get onto the start-finish straight. And he was gifted a position there, really, wasn't he, Brian?
He was. Big gap on the inside, and he took it. Sheldon van der Linde does not need invitation. There's another car in trouble, and that is the BMW. I think that's Dries Vanthoor going slowly into turn 1. Looks like there's been a bit of contact with him.
Yeah, so Dries Vanthoor looks like he might be the latest retiree. He's tumbling down the order. Sheldon van der Linde up to 14th, so he's in the championship points at least, but he wants a lot more than a couple of points for 14th place as the defending champion. Great shot of the cars all running through turn 3 there, and then they begin this climb up to the end of sector 1. You can see the cars really hop and skip and bounce over the tarmac there, can't you? And the car, the weight transfers from the left to the right, the front to the back. It's dancing around all the time, and the driver's having to react to it, but not be too volatile on the steering wheel, because you can lose the car so easily.
And there's Dries Vanthoor just coming back to the pits. You were talking about that section of track. Oh, he's got a puncture on the right rear and some bodywork damage. Whether the bodywork damage has been caused by the puncture or whether the two are separate remains to be seen. But that part of track where they were bouncing up over the hill, I saw it on Friday. The tarmac has completely eaten away where they were bottoming out the cars going up that hill.
Yeah, so a real shame for Vanthoor, who was really impressive, wasn't he, yesterday on his DTM debut. We know he's a very experienced GT racer and multiple class winner at Nürburgring 24 hours as well. But to step into a championship as competitive as this, really did a good job yesterday for 8th place. Another one kicking up the dust there was Sheldon van der Linde, a bit like Heidemann did on the previous lap, but I think he's got enough advantage here as he weaves around to try and get rid of the gravel to hold on to that position. Look at Marco Wittmann trying to come around the outside of Patrick Niederhauser here. Marco almost doing it in the BMW on the exit to Tarzan. He'll have to sit tight now though, because I don't think it's going to be any way through at turn 3. And there's a bit of a gap back then to Lucas Stoltz and Dennis Olsen battling over 7th and 8th with Engin Nguyen and Albert Costa Balboa rounding out the top 10.
The two BMWs are looking mighty, the remaining two BMWs, and after many drivers starting the race out of position, we're seeing those that are quick trying to move through the field. Of course, overtaking so difficult as into turn 1 where most of the moves have been made, and also the exit of turn 3.
And we go down to Verena now in the pit lane.
Luki Auer, very unfortunate for you. What exactly happened that you had to end the race? I mean, the car doesn't look very good, obviously.
Yeah, very sorry for that, but we had a lot of start-stop mess at the start, and the further you are back, the more you are affected by it, and there was just a lot of touching, and unfortunately my car was too damaged before it even started.
All right, thank you very much, very unfortunate. Back to you.
Thanks very much. Yeah, real shame for him. We get a replay then of the start of the race here, and great start for Ricardo Feller. And there was the damage in the middle of, before they even got to the start-finish line, really, with Dries Vanthoor, Sheldon van der Linde in the middle of the sandwich, and on the inside towards the pit wall was Lucas Auer. So there was contact there on the rolling start, really before they even got going, wasn't there?
Yeah, you saw Sheldon van der Linde getting into the back of Lucas Auer, Dries Vanthoor in there as well. Here we go. This will be a good perspective. You can see just making contact with that rear corner. Mirko Bortolotti had a good view of it. He sees the gap, decides that discretion is the better part of valour into turn 1, I think. And this is a good view from Tim Heidemann.
Yeah, he's given us some good footage this weekend, hasn't he, Tim Heinemann? And this was as he got past the stricken car, already limping then back towards the pits was Luca Sauer. And this is another perspective then of the start of the race. This is from Marco Wittmann's BMW. He had a pretty good start as well. He gained a place off the line, and there you can see how Lauren Heinrich got up the inside of Patrick Niederhauser. If he wasn't close enough to make contact, he was certainly very, very close there, wasn't he? He was almost at the exhaust pipe of the Porsche. Was Marco Wittmann. Come on, get on with it, he says. Shoves him into the first corner. Rear-facing camera shows you Frank Pereira trying to get in on the action as well, with side-by-side action with Schumacher, Arjamani just behind as well. All the time, though, the race leader edging clear. He's nearly 2.4 seconds up the road now, Ricardo Fella in the Audi. Maro Engel did something similar yesterday. He's in second place with, don't forget, 20 kg of success ballast on the car. Thomas Pryning there in third.
Trying to use the new tyre advantage to catch the other one.
So
new tyre.
There's some clues, isn't it? Yeah, new tyre advantage. Have we got some more to come? I'm not sure we have, but Sheldon van der Linde clearly has some good rubber. That explains trying to make progress in the first part of this race, and you can see the gap he's pulled out over Tim Heinemann ahead of him. So Heinemann may be struggling. Here comes Sheldon van der Linde on Luca Engstler to the outside into turn one, under braking. Is he just going to go round the outside of that Audi? He did well just to slow it down, keep it out of the gravel. Luca Engstler goes to shut the door. A little bit of contact. Now Sheldon van der Linde coming back round the outside. Luca Engstler holding onto that spot, up into the banking. Sheldon van der Linde, a little tag again. Side by side, out of turn three, it's still advantage Engstler.
Great stuff from both drivers there. Tell you what, BMW's good on the brakes, isn't it? We've seen Wittmann and van der Linde throw it into turn one. Look at him dancing over the tarmac now as he tries to find a gap on the way into turn seven. But young Luca Engstler, he's, regardless of the fact that there's the champion alongside him, still battling on, but he's got the inside line now. On the way to the right-hander, and Sheldon dives down the inside. Fantastic move, great battle. I'll tell you what, Luca Engstler is impressive. He's one of the young drivers in the field. He's already a TCR champion, a multiple TCR champion in different areas of the world and disciplines. But he is a feisty young driver and a really good one as well. He had to give up the position in the end, but he did not make life easy at all for the driver with the number one on his car.
So let's see what progress Sheldon van der Linde can make there. He's up to 12th place already. Now his brother is up ahead of him. I don't know how close they are in terms of racing relationship, but it's going to be quite a battle because Kelvin is currently putting the pressure on Albert Costa Balboa, who's come to a little bit of a halt in his progress. He's behind Iron Guven, who is behind Dennis Olsen. But Kelvin van der Linde in the Audi. The Audis are looking reborn here as we come into day two. Now a challenge, Lauren Heinrich with Patrick Niederhauser on the outside. Round the outside, he gets it slowed down into turn one, but now Lauren Heinrich coming back at him into turn two. They don't quite make contact. What a great perspective that is. Niederhauser has the position.
They didn't get the memo. You can't overtake around Zandvoort. Yes, you can. You can in DTM. Fantastic battling here. Whoa, the Lauren Heinrich Porsche getting almost into a tank slapper as he laid down over 500 brake horsepower coming out of turn three. Keen to go on the throttle. He wants to attack and defend at the same time. Patrick Niederhauser with his mirrors absolutely full of Porsche and BMW here, but the number 83 Tresor Orange 1 Audi driver doing a great job as Wittmann tried to come around the outside on the way to turn 8. On board with him now, the gap opens up. Here's the chance for Marco to come through. Marco never needs a second invitation, and the BMW driver through, although Lauren Heinrich coming back at him now. Lucas Stoltz gets the better run. He's going to whip around the outside here on the way into turn 10. The Mercedes gets through as well, and you've also got Dennis Olsen breathing down his neck as well, and he can't exactly be stealth-like in that bright green car, can he?
Marco Wittmann was the fastest of anybody in Sector 1 on the previous lap, so that BMW is dialed in and going forwards. I would suggest that maybe he is another one who's on the new rubber. I think the drivers that started further back are trying to make as much progress as they can early on with the fresher rubber. Marco Wittmann moving up that position and already pulling away. This is the view on board as he goes to the outside of Lauren Heinrich. Heinrich slams the door, so he cuts back to the inside, and he goes, all right, I'll go up the inside then, and does just that.
Marco Wittmann is, I think, the most determined man in the history of the world, isn't he? He just does not give up. And that was fantastic to watch. Lauren Heinrich, Porsche Carrera Cup Germany champion of last year. Might be new to DTM, but what a driver. He knows how to handle a Porsche. But Lucas Stoltz there, with clever driving actually, just gave them a bit of breathing space, let them fight it out, and just whipped past them on the way out of the corner.
Brilliant stuff, Lucas Stoltz. Good to see him back at the right end of the field after a torrid time at Oschersleben. So P6 for Lucas Stoltz at the moment. He's going to struggle to keep up with the BMW in front though. Marco Wittmann, man on a mission. Let's see how quickly he can catch Patrick Niederhauser in 4th place.
Car number 8, Luca Engstler, gets a warning, a black and white flag for forcing car number 1, Sheldon van der Linde, off the track. Don't do it again, it says, but anyway, he's got away with it for now with just a warning. Kelvin van der Linde on the previous lap got ahead of the Ferrari of Albert Costa Balboa, so there's one car in between him and his brother now. There were an historic 1-2 finish for Sheldon and Kelvin at the Nürburgring last year, the first time brothers had ever been taken the top 2 steps of a podium, the 2 South Africans. So Kelvin there, who's in the black and white number 3 Audi, the car now running in 10th place. His next target is Saint-Jean Nguyen in the red and blue number 24 Porsche, run by multiple Le Mans champion and Le Mans winner Timo Bernhardt. And there you can see this battle now beginning to rage on for 9th place. And there's the Ferrari of Albert Costa. And coming into the pit scene as well now is the number 1 BMW of that man, Sheldon van der Linde.
So Sheldon van der Linde looking very eager indeed, isn't he, as he cues at the back, but he's not going to stay there very long. He's been staring at the back of Iron Chen Guven, but looking racy. See Sheldon as well coming up behind. So there's a car between Sheldon and Kelvin now. So Albert Costa Balboa, he's found a route past Sheldon van der Linde, hasn't he?
Yeah, so Lauren Heinrich slipping back to 7th place now. Fella leads by 1.9 seconds. He lost a couple of tenths to Maro Engel on that lap. The gap's come down to less than 2 seconds now. Thomas Preining 3rd, Patrick Niederhauser 4th, Marco Wittmann 5th, Lucas Stoltz 6th, Lauren Heinrich down to 7th, and then with Porsches of Olsen and Nguyen breathing down his neck 8th and 9th, Kelvin van der Linde in 10th, 11th is Costa, 12th is that man Sheldon van der Linde, Luca Engstler 13th, Tim Heinemann 14th, and Christian Engelhardt 15th are the other drivers in the points at the moment. And the fastest first sector of the race has just gone, after setting the fastest lap of the race last time around, to Marco Wittmann in 5th place.
So he's doing it again, setting best sectors. He especially likes sector 1, doesn't he? As far as Maro Engel goes, don't forget he's carrying 20 kilos of luggage with him as a result of his win yesterday. Sheldon van der Linde with 10 kilos extra doesn't seem to be slowing their progress too much, although Frank Pereira might have something to say about that. He's down in 17th place. He's carrying an extra 5 kilos as a result of his 3rd place finish yesterday.
Yeah, it's not exactly made a huge amount of ground up, has he? Certainly not the progress that Sheldon van der Linde has made, nor Bortolotti really. Bortolotti 16th, Pereira 17th. They're both still out of the points. This is similar to the first round at Oschersleben. From Pereira, pole position, a race win. Then he starts 2/3 of the way down the grid the following day and doesn't score any points. So difficult to be consistent in the championship, but somebody that is being a consistent points finisher this year is Ricardo Fella, and he's on course at the moment, long way to go, but for his first win of the season and to become 4th different winner of the year. I wonder how long it's going to be this year before we get somebody picking up a 2nd victory. Maybe we'll go the whole year, maybe we'll have 16 different winners. I wouldn't be completely surprised by that.
It could happen, couldn't it? I should think the van der Linde brothers had a team talk, a battle talk over breakfast this morning, because both of them are looking so eager as they monster the cars in front of them. Kelvin van der Linde, how long has he been staring at Iron Chen Guven? It's only a matter of time before he gets past. And Sheldon van der Linde, well, he's got a plan to get past Albert Costa Balboa's Ferrari. The two of them, every time we come down the straight, you see them ducking to the inside. You see the two van der Lindes ducking out of line, looking to find some space.
And you got David Schumacher in 18th place, been following him a little bit just outside the points. Matteo Drudi trying to get up there as well. Teammate to Patrick Niederhauser, so the car we know works well because Patrick's up in 4th place, just half a second away from a podium position. On board with Thierry Vermeulen then, an unfortunate retirement yesterday for him. A young driver, still that's built up quite a bit of experience, but he's got no huge karting background like a lot of these drivers. Well, I know speaking to Albert Costa yesterday, he's been impressed with Thierry Vermeulen. He says they need to be patient with him. He's still learning, but he's definitely got the potential to be a real star, Thierry Vermeulen, and hopefully Thierry's going to have a good 2nd race here and get some points in his home race here in Zandvoort for the home crowd to cheer him on.
Yeah, and he had a good race here. He got a 2nd place at the GT Masters this time last year, albeit in an Audi, so he certainly knows his way around here. He's the youngest driver in the field. He has a vocal fan club here in the Netherlands. Very popular, of course, the Verstappen.com car. His dad the manager of Max Verstappen, and I'm told there is a little bit of coaching that goes on there as well. I'm not sure how much time Max has for this, but Thierry Vermeulen, well, it can't do any harm, can it?
No, when you come here to Zandvoort, there are stalls everywhere, aren't there, with Max Verstappen merchandise. This place is going to erupt when the Grand Prix comes here later in the year. And Max is, of course, the World Championship leader, looking for his 3rd title there. Proper motorsport fans, aren't they, here in the Netherlands? They really do enjoy their motorsport. Right, back on board with Marco Wittmann of the Project 1 BMW in 5th place. He's been getting that gap down and down and down. He's almost with now Patrick Niederhauser, who in turn is pretty close to the tail of Thomas Preining in the number 91 Manthey EMA Porsche. Manthey back into DTM for the first time in 2 decades, but with a collaboration with the Australian outfit EMA Motorsport. On board then with Patrick Niederhauser, and that's a great view, isn't it? Just looking from the side of the car underneath the wheel arch of the front right wheel of the Audi there in 4th place. He's had a better mid-lap than Marco Wittmann. He's just edged away from him a little bit through this banking, though. I don't think he's close enough to attack the Porsche of Thomas Preining. There's a little crest there as well, isn't there, as they come back onto the start-finish line. We're getting towards that point in a couple of minutes' time where the pit lane is going to open and pit stops are going to be interesting, and you'll have an idea of what you want to do as a team and as a driver. You'll have a plan A, but you can't just stick to plan A because it depends what happens in the race. And if you feel you're being held up by a driver ahead, you feel you can get in and out of the pits, not come out in traffic, then there might be 1 or 2 decided to change things up here and come in pretty early, I reckon.
And those that started on fresh rubber will be frustrated if they are in traffic, because they need to make progress in the first half of the race before they do come in for their pit stop. It is all about strategy. If you're caught in traffic, though, you really just want to get in, get out on some open track, and we can see so many places won and lost during the pit stop period. Mauro Engel, he's well clear of Thomas Preining at the moment, but Preining looking more and more under pressure from Patrick Niederhauser's Audi, isn't he?
And there's Lucas Auer with the team at Windward inspecting the damage to the front of his Mercedes. He had a tricky weekend at Oschersleben as well, but a really good 6th place finish yesterday. Last year's championship runner-up. And there you can see the cars battling still over that 3rd place coming through. And here's Kelvin van der Linde with Ian Nguyen. And it's again side by side. He's got his nose in front this time. Is he far enough through? I think he's going to. Yes, he goes through. So eventually, after knocking on the door for ages, he gets past the Turkish driver and gains another place. That's 9th position now for Kelvin. Flashing the headlights now. It's Albert Costa Balboa onto the Turkish driver. The Ferrari versus the Porsche now. Right behind them, of course. Flying up the order is the red and yellow number 1 Schubert Motorsport BMW of Sheldon van der Linde, who's getting pretty close here as they go with the start-finish line. We know he's got on the brakes on the way into Tarzan. He's committed to the move. He's going to get up the inside of the Ferrari, and that is just about the perfect overtaking move.
Look how quickly Kelvin van der Linde is leaving behind Ian Nguyen. He's been staring at the back of that car for 19 minutes. He's finally made the route past. Now, what kind of job can Sheldon van der Linde do of getting past? The mighty BMW is there. Also, in the background is the Ferrari. It does look as though Ian Nguyen is struggling for pace. He's probably on old rubber.
So the pit window is now open in the middle part of this race.
And shortly before we will pit. Keep pushing, man. It's hammer time.
Where have we heard that before?
Yeah, it's hammer time. Well, he's certainly left Nguyen's Porsche in the distance, hasn't he? He's in the mirrors now, a long way back, 3 or 4 car lengths back already, having got through to that 9th position. And there you can see him pulling away and trying to catch up to the next car, which is going to be Dennis Olsen. He's 1.3 seconds behind him at the moment, but now he's got some clean track. It'll be interesting to see what sort of lap time Kelvin can do. So you heard there, hammer time. Get on with it now as much as you can, because I think that's going to be one of the first pit stoppers by the sounds of that team radio.
You get the feeling, don't you? I'm keeping an eye on Marco Wittmann. It's 4 tenths between him and Patrick Niederhauser at the moment. He has been a man on the move throughout this race. So 4 tenths last time around. We'll keep an eye on that and see if he's closing in. Of course, drivers ducking into the pits may change things completely anyway. Anyone who's caught up in the traffic may well be about to come into the pits. But you see Marco Wittmann there coming into turn 1 behind Patrick Niederhauser. He has been closing in. He's, well, it's still about 4 tenths actually after that lap. In fact, it's opened up a bit. Here we come, pit stop starting.
Yeah, Costa in, Bortolotti coming in as well. Here's a great shot, looking straight into the face of the Italian. Driving the 4th in the championship last year, still looking for his first win in the DTM, but a very consistent point scorer up until this point. From a long way down, he's trying to come, and there he is, with his steely blue eyes, Mirko Bortolotti. He's a great driver, he's a great chap as well, but he's not going to get out ahead of the Ferrari, is he? So Costa will be the first of the pit stoppers. Schumacher was in as well in the Mercedes, so they've all elected to go early. And I think really, when you're a long way down the order, Brian, you've got to try something different to the majority, haven't you?
Yeah, if you want it to finish differently, you've got to do something different. That's exactly what they're doing. It's sometimes a roll of the dice going early, because you're going to have to make whatever tyres you got on the car go for 40 minutes. That's a long time in this heat on this surface. But the drivers clearly have a strategy. Whatever strategy Riccardo Fella is running and his team, it is working at the moment. 3.552 seconds over second place Mauro Engel. I'm wondering if that success penalty is starting to bite a little, because it looks like Thomas Preining and Patrick Niederhauser and Marco Wittmann are starting to line up behind him, and I wonder how vulnerable he's going to be before too long.
Yeah, extra weight on the car is also extra wear and tear on the tyres, isn't it? As into the pits then comes Patrick Niederhauser, the first of the real front runners to come. He's driven superbly so far this weekend. Can he get his just rewards and some good points in this race? And they're right behind him as well. Kelvin van der Linde comes in, his former teammate in GT Masters, who won the title together in 2019. So here some on boards, as you see, they changed the rears first and the fronts. The quickest pit stop yesterday was Lucas Hauer, 6.1 seconds. Albert Costa and the Emil Frey team, 6.4 seconds at a good stop. Engine Nguyen and Team 75 Tim Bernhard with a 6.6 second stop as well. Look at this, side by side as they come out of the pits, but the orange one Tresor Audi of Niederhauser is just ahead of Kelvin van der Linde. They know each other well, and they've got to become reacquainted there on the way out of the pits, didn't they?
Who has the most accurate speed limiter? I hope they didn't go over the speed limit, because they'll be coming back in if they're not careful. That was wonderful stuff. Yes, there's two drivers who were teammates in 2019 and went to win the GT Masters title. They were great together, have now gone their separate ways, remain good friends. Patrick Niederhauser, well, in front of Kelvin van der Linde, you could see as they came out, just squeezing him, running along the green box. Now, was that an unsafe release, or will they get away with it?
I think they'll get away with it, but there are powers with bigger minds than me to have a look at this. It's under investigation, that's for sure, for Patrick Niederhauser and the Tresor Orange 1 team. What you will say out of all of that is that that was a much better pit stop for Abt, wasn't it? Because Kelvin van der Linde was a lot further back coming into the pits than he was when they came out of the pits. So Kelvin in a good space at the moment, as Marco Wittmann is the second of the front runners to come out into the pit lane, and he's going to hope to come back out still somewhere around Niederhauser and van der Linde. It tells you that van der Linde could be in the mix here for a top 5, top 6 finish. Right, they need a better pit stop than yesterday. It's 10.1 seconds yesterday. It cost him a podium place.
Luca Exler also into the pits, just out of shot, but this is critical now. How have they done? The car goes down. It looked pretty quick. We haven't seen a clock at the moment to see how they've done, but a penalty lap was an unsafe release for Patrick Niederhauser. So penalty lap incoming. That's going to be the equivalent to adding 5 seconds onto his lap time.
You've got to feel for Patrick Niederhauser, because he's had these penalties this weekend. From a driver's point of view, he's done nothing wrong really, has he? But a real shame for Patrick. Right, Marco Wittmann didn't look like a massively quick stop, but it's done enough to get him out ahead of Niederhauser. But the one he's really got to worry about is the one without a penalty. There in the number 3, Abt Audi, Kelvin van der Linde. So Kelvin could do with getting past Patrick before this penalty lap.
180 front, 175 rear.
Well, team radio about tyre pressures, but the more pressing discussion with Niederhauser is going to be, right, you can go past the pits and the start-finish line one more time, then I'm afraid, coming out turn 12, you've got to go in the penalty box and serve what's, effectively going to be a 5-second stop. Patrick Niederhauser doesn't get the memo. He dives up the inside of Marco Wittmann and gets ahead of him anyway. So he's going to have to go through that penalty box in the long lap next time around, but quicker he can do this lap, the less harm he maybe will do himself, as now Kelvin van der Linde tries to find a way past big Marco, but he can't do it just yet.
So having been so rapid prior to the pit stop, Marco Wittmann not as quick now. Having said that, the tyres still need to get up to temperature. You'd think in this heat they'd get up to temperature immediately. Right, there we go, Patrick Niederhauser. No more than 50 kilometres an hour through that penalty box. That will feel like he is crawling. In fact, he is crawling. He's back up to speed. 5 seconds added, effectively, he's now further back from that battle. He's got it all to do again.
Yes, for now, cost him 2 places, hasn't it, Wittmann and van der Linde? But if somebody comes out of the pits later and gets in between them, it might cost him a couple more. That effectively 5 seconds. It's done him some harm, that's for sure. But he's still in the mix here for some good points. Dennis Olsen coming out of the pits then. Ooh, right into the path of Marco Wittmann. Marco's not going to like that. He's going to have to dispatch with him pretty quickly. Kelvin van der Linde dives up the inside, goes low. The BMW goes high, and Kelvin van der Linde trying his best to get past Marco Wittmann. At least he's got past all the cold tyres, Dennis Olsen, which he absolutely needed to do. But for a moment there, I thought he was going to lunge past the BMW as well.
I think Olsen had plans to try and take him back. The good bit about turn 3 is you can go through in different lines, but Kelvin van der Linde is much slower around the bottom, and he had to give way. Marco Wittmann up high had that faster route around the corner and was able to defend that pace.
I have a feeling Mirko Bortolotti started the race on used tyres and has now switched to the new ones because he's done the fastest lap of the race just with a 1 minute 34.739 in the Lamborghini. He's getting his head down, trying to make that early pit stop count. Here is then Thomas Priding coming in, and Jung Nguyen comes in as well in Thomas's car from last year, and in he comes then. Thomas Priding searching for a second podium finish of the year if he can. Change the rears, to change the fronts. That looks pretty good from the Manthey team. They had their dramas with pit stops in weekend one at Oschersleben, but they put it right this weekend. He should get out ahead of Nguyen, but where is he going to be in relation to all of the other front runners once it settles down? In particular, Feller and Engel, who've yet to make their pit stops.
I think Clemens Schmidt just came through the picture, didn't he? So there's still a lot of pit stops to come. So everything very much up in the air, but maybe they've got him out on some open track and he can actually, there you go, lovely open track in front of him. Oh, maybe not so. Here comes the traffic. It was open for a little while, wasn't it? Marco Wittmann just coming through. He has obviously done his stop, and Kelvin van der Linde behind him.
Yeah, Lucas Stoltz has come out of those pit stops well, hasn't he? Because he's now effectively the second best pit stopper. So Priding is the leading pit stopper. Then that man there in the yellow Mercedes, Lucas Stoltz. Then Marco Wittmann. Oh, we got a spin for Lauren Heinrich. So Heinrich gets going again and will flick it around, hopefully, up on the banking. Oh, no, not yet. Oh, dear, he's in a very precarious position there, yeah, stranded on the inside of the banking.
Yeah, that's a scary place to be stuck, actually, and I hope he can get it moving. Otherwise, we're going to end up with a safety car. You can hear the engine is still running, but he's got to wait for us. Oh, and it sounds like, no, the engine is still running. He finally gets it going. That is a steep climb up there. He's giving it all the pedal he can. Yellow in turn 3, should clear now, so we're all good.
We didn't do that turn 14, wasn't it? That's an uphill start. Right, Feller in then. The race leader coming in. He's got to get out ahead of Priding and Stoltz and Wittmann and van der Linde, and Engel is in as well. So race between the pit crews. Feller has just gone past on the pit lane exit. Engel was a few seconds behind him anyway. So let's see where they're going to come out. There should be still the top 2 effectively of all those that have made their pit stops. But look, Priding is coming into the mix here. He's got his tyres up to temperature. He's the next one into the right-hander at Tarzan. He's certainly going to get past Engel here, and he's going to be pretty close to the tail of Feller by the end of the lap, as well as Feller struggles to get the tyres up to temperature, and Engel's going to drop behind Stoltz as well. And I bet you bottom dollar that Wittmann's going to have a go on the way to turn 3. The BMW to get past him as well. You're on board with Marco now. Has he found a way past? Yes, he has. Maro Engel loses another place there on cold tyres, and Kelvin van der Linde is next to have a go as they make their way through turn 4, turn 5, and up to the top of the hill at turn 6. He's going to have a dive, isn't he, Brian, at turn 7?
He is, and he's very vulnerable at the moment, is Maro Engel. He's got those colder tyres. Kelvin van der Linde up to speed. He knows he needs to get past that Mercedes as quickly as possible before he gets back up to speed. He has a look on the inside. No contact between these two seasoned veterans. Both the drivers have raced against each other many times over the years. I think Maro Engel might just have fended that one off, or has he? Because Maro Engel now back up to speed and just staying in front of Kelvin van der Linde at the moment. Don't forget, he's got the extra weight on board on that Mercedes as well. What's Kelvin van der Linde going to do here? He looks to the inside, ducks back to the outside, and now he gets a little bit alongside around that bank corner, up towards what will be turn 13, and then on to the banked final Lyondike corner. He will be able to take it flat out as we look at Sheldon van der Linde in the pits. He will be able to take it flat out and hopefully pick up a slipstream for him into turn 1.
So van der Linde out. He had got the lead of the race, but he's going to lose it now because Vella will come through, then Preining, then Stolz will come through as well. We've still got Matteo Drudi, Arjun Maini, Mick Wiesover ahead of Ricardo Vella.
We have no TC for now. We keep going. We are running P2.
No traction control for Thomas Preining. That could be a bit of a drama coming out of all these second gear corners. So you have to do it old school, Tommy. You get a replay of Marco Wittmann all the way around the outside. You sure he hasn't done any IndyCar driving, Marco Wittmann, because he found the right line there, didn't he? The high line through the banking at turn 3. Gets his foot in.
Wonderful stuff, and you can see the tension in the garage, so much invested in this racing and all that's going on. Oh, Jack, okay, Albert Costa Balboa sitting in for Jack Aitken, walking back to the pits. Clearly, he's had an issue. Now, where's he parked up?
That's a real shame for Albert Costa. Yeah, that's on the back straight coming out of turn 10, is it?
Yeah. It's damaged, but it looks mechanical to me.
No, it's up the hill, it's the other side. So, yeah, he's found that escape road. So it's actually coming out of turn 4. They had a problem. So a glimpse of five-time champion Bernd Schneider there. A real shame for Albert Costa. We've really loved having him though, and he's welcome back anytime to the DTM. He's been a real leading light this weekend, standing in for Jack Aitken. Here though is your net leader once the pit stops all settled down, Ricardo Vella. It just shows, doesn't it, with Maro Engel dropping down the order so quickly, even on a hot day, on a hot circuit, and especially with brand new tyres, still takes time to get them up to speed, doesn't it?
You can't believe it. If you step outside, the heat is like an oven out there. But yes, that is the case. Now, we might have some clues as to what happened to both Lauren Heinrich and also Albert Costa Balboa, because there's been an incident between the two of them that's reported to the stewards. And it might be that the spin for Heinrich and the retirement for Albert Costa Balboa might be related in some way.
Yeah, it seems a bit of a coincidence otherwise, doesn't it? I'll go along with that. So either way, I'm afraid one Ferrari out of the race. Vermeulen into the pits as well. Team radio for Ricardo Vella.
Okay, now you have Preining behind. The gap is 2 seconds.
Ricardo's listening, but he's not talking. He's concentrating.
No answer was the stern reply.
All right, 2 seconds, fine. He'd probably work that out himself, couldn't he? But there you go. So Ricardo Vella, he's 4th at the moment, with the 3 ahead of him. Drudi, Maini and Wiesover still to make their pit stops. This is Tim Heinemann running out wide, not for the first time this weekend. From Pereira getting past him. Luca Engstler and David Schumacher just behind that. Porsche has been a bit of a handful this weekend at Zandvoort, hasn't it?
Yeah, Tim Heinemann has been in the wars, not quite the weekend he wanted after such a great time at Oschersleben that saw him emerge as the championship leader. He's had a much tougher time of it this weekend, but he is such a strong driver. He will bounce back from it, probably literally, I should think.
Yeah, he was almost a bit emotional, wasn't he, after that second place finish at Oschersleben when he got the news he was the championship leader. But he was really impressive, and he was pretty feisty out on the track as well. I think this is such a competitive championship, but you've also got to give not too much respect to some of these big names around you if you want to succeed. Arjun Maini has come in there. Mick Wiesover has come into the pits as well. So Ricardo Vella will resume now in the overall lead of the race. Just an update on Sheldon van der Linde, 12th at the start of the lap, but he should get ahead of Maini and Wiesover. He's going to be in the top 10, not too bad from where he started on the grid.
Yes, it's recovery from what was a tough qualifying session this morning. Both van der Lindes having a great race at the moment. I'm not going to jinx it. We've still got 25 minutes plus 1 lap, but Kelvin van der Linde in 6th, Sheldon van der Linde in 10. Patrick Niederhauser, the steward's favourite driver, is currently in 8th place, staring at the back of Ian Chen Guven. Guven, well, he's a little bit more up to speed. His lap times have improved a bit since his pit stop. But I think that Patrick Niederhauser, once again, is going to be working hard to get past that car in front.
So as it stands, it's going to be Ricardo Vella, 2nd win in DTM, 1st win of the season, best result of the season. It's going to be Thomas Preining 2nd, best result of the season. It's going to be Lukas Stolz 3rd, 1st podium, best result of the season. Marco Wittmann 4th. best result of the season. Maro Engel, 5th at the moment, but I think he would take that because he got the win yesterday. He knew he would have his work cut out with the success ballast today, and actually he got perhaps a much better grid position than you might have otherwise expected with that mixed-up qualifying that we had this morning. It was a bit of a lottery. You could have ended up almost anywhere, couldn't you, in qualifying this morning?
Yes, and I must remind you, there is still 24 minutes remaining. This is DTM. It could all change. Anything can happen here. We only need a safety car, and this will all be up in the air as we continue to see Dennis Olsen closer than ever to Patrick Niederhauser. And of course, if Patrick Niederhauser tries to make a move on Ian Chen Guven, he may well just open the door for Dennis Olsen. So he's having to defend and attack at the same time. Quite the skill, as far as I'm aware.
Patrick Niederhauser, despite that run through the penalty box, still on for his first points of 2023 and his first DTM points ever. He's there in 8th place. Ian Guven's only scored 3 points so far as well, so he's going well up there, just heading 7th.
How many laps older are the tires of Van der Linde behind me?
No answer.
Nobody knows.
We'll come back to you on that.
Yes, but it depends on whether he put used rubber on or new rubber, doesn't it? And the way he was going at the start of this race, I reckon he started on new rubber, to be quite honest. So who knows how old those tyres are.
Yeah, and just to explain, you get here at Zandvoort for qualifying, 2 qualifyings, 2 races, you get 4 sets of new Pirelli tyres, so they'll all use a new set in the qualifying sessions, but effectively then for each race, half of the race you'll use a brand new set of tyres and half you'll have to use a slightly used set from qualifying. So that's all you've got, and you make that decision based on where you are on the grid, I would imagine. Look at that, fantastic, almost 14,000 euros raised in the race laps for Wells in Africa. All the combined laps added up, and an amount of euros donated to improving water, clean water facilities in various African countries as well by BWT, Better Water Technology. So great innovation there for DTM this year, trying to help others less fortunate than ourselves. Back on board with Marco Wittmann, 4th place. How he'd love a podium though.
Yes, and he's looking good for it, isn't he? Marco Wittmann, he has been the man on a mission all race long. The Project 1 BMW, great camera angle there. Hounding Lucas Stoltz, who is rapidly forgetting his Oschersleben weekend, had a good time yesterday, finishing in 11th place, but looking for his best finish of the season. Marco Wittmann, though, he is close as we listen to Kelvin van der Linde.
Okay, mate, you're doing very good, very good. It's 16 laps to go. We made it up from P11 to P6. You're doing a very good job out there, so we just keep pushing. It is 22 minutes to go.
The good news for Kelvin van der Linde and Team Abt, as we can see from his teammate Ricardo Feller, that's capable of getting silverware, that Audi this year. They struggled a bit with the car last year in DTM after a really good first season for Kelvin, which almost saw him taking the championship title back in 2021. But if they just get qualifying, just have a bit more luck in qualifying for Kelvin, he'll be up there because the race pace has been good all the way through the 2 weekends so far. So, yeah, it's only a couple of 6th places that he's got so far, but if he were to be able to qualify up there in the top 4 or 5, I think there's definitely podiums and wins coming back the way of Kelvin van der Linde, because the car looks decent, doesn't it, this year?
It does, and he really has had a lot of bad luck. Of course, that mechanical failure at Oschersleben which saw him retire. Let's have a listen now to the Thomas Preining radio.
Can I go to AC1? It's very hot in the car, and I don't want to lose power with it. You're trying.
Thomas trying to get some feedback from the team. Remember, we had that message a few minutes ago that he'd lost traction control. But his last lap, 135.1, was only a couple of tenths slower than the race leader Ricardo Feller. It was only half a tenth slower than his nearest rival, which is Lucas Stoltz in 3rd place. And he was a 1,000th of a second quicker than Marco Wittmann last time around. The driver, the best of the BMWs, running in 4th place. Manthey looking on there, the team boss, sort of slightly dancing up and down on his toes, a little bit nervous there. But it's going well so far for Thomas Preining. Could be his 2nd podium. Remember, after qualifying and getting some points for 2nd in qualifying this morning, he got ahead actually of Maro Engel in the championship standings by a point. So he's up to 3rd place on 35 points. And for 2nd place, he'll score 20 points. That will move on to 55 points. Well, Tim Heinemann, who's second in the championship, ain't going to score any more points at the moment. He's in 17th place. And from Pereira, who's the championship leader, he's 14th. He's only going to score a couple of points currently. That will put him on to 50. So actually, Thomas Preining, despite not yet winning a race this season, if it all stays like this, he'll be the new championship leader at the end of 2 weekends of DTM.
Lucas Stoltz and Mauro Engel as a partnership almost won a GT Masters title in 21 without winning a single race. It was consistency. In fact, they just missed out on the title at the last race. But it is possible to win a championship without winning a race. The pit window is closed, so what you see on the track is what you get. It is Riccardo Feller leading from Thomas Preining and Lucas Stoltz. Everybody who needed to pit has pitted. We've also lost a fair few cars.
It's a good point you make, because at the end of the day, when they look at your CV, they don't really look how many races you won. They look whether you won the championship or not. And yeah, a few years ago in the British Touring Car Championship, on his way to his 4th title, Colin Turkington won 1 out of 30 races and he won the championship title. So you're absolutely right about that point about being consistent, because it's so competitive out there. You're not going to get anybody this year that's going to dominate in terms of race wins. I really don't believe that. And we've already seen that, haven't we, from what looks like it's going to be 4 different winners from the first 4 races this season.
And this is why it's going to hurt Rene Rast and Jack Aitken, who are in other places this weekend, because they've effectively recorded 2 DNFs this weekend. They are going to have to work extra hard. Rene Rast is always a championship challenger, always a contender, but he is starting on the back foot this season, having missed an entire weekend.
Yes, although nobody's absolutely flying away in terms of points, I suppose, is the only thing. You haven't got anybody who's taken 4 wins and 2 wins this weekend and has built a really big lead up in the championship. It's all going to be fairly compact, isn't it? Crowd then watching on that grandstand, absolutely packed here at Zandvoort, isn't it? We walk around the paddock this morning, that's been rammed as well. Yesterday was busy enough there. The young fans enjoying themselves here, and the sights and sounds of DTM as we go into the final 17.5 minutes or so on the clock. These extended race distances this year, up from 55 minutes plus 1 lap to 60 minutes plus 1 lap. So we've still got a way to go, and it's just settled down a little bit now, but it's motorsport and it's DTM, and you just suspect there might be 1 or 2 more twists to come.
There are only 18 cars running, so it does mean, whilst we're talking about the points championship, there, as things stand at the moment, there are only 3 drivers who will not score points today. So if you make it to the end, you're in with a very good shout of scoring points. But as you say, there are plenty of twists and turns to come. Still 17 minutes plus 1 lap of this race remaining. Great shot of Lucas Stoltz. You can see the concentration in his eyes.
It's worth fighting it. We need to fight it. You're doing a very good job. Let's go for P3. Come on.
Well, according to my records, he is P3 already. So Feller, Preining, Stoltz, 1, 2, 3. Marco Wittmann in the background as well. Mauro Engel with that 5th place, but a little way back from Marco Wittmann. Engel running a little bit on his own now. He looks as though he's broken clear of Kelvin van der Linde for the time being. Yeah, that's just a bit of encouragement for Luca to say, come on, you've got to hold on to this podium position, because he's got the rather menacing sight in the mirrors of Marco Wittmann's BMW. But actually, Lucas Stoltz just set his best lap of the race last time around with a 1:34.804, half a tenth quicker than Marco Wittmann. That time around, Stoltz does a 1:34.8, but it's a 1:34.9 for Wittmann, so he's actually edging away, looking a bit more comfortable. Lucas Stoltz on course for his first podium since the Red Bull Ring in the summer of last year, 2022. To go back on board with Patrick Niederhauser, looking for his first points in DTM there in 8th place. And how close might he have been to a podium without that run through the penalty box? Yeah, lots of ifs and buts there, and the same for yesterday as well. Arndt Guven is just ahead of him. Does look like he's found a bit of pace since the pit stops, although he's not exactly leaving Patrick Niederhauser behind. Dennis Olsen still waiting, but look who's in the background. Defending champion Sheldon van der Linde, 10th place. Well, he could turn this into a 7th in the blink of an eye, couldn't he? Yeah, he and Dennis Olsen are both catching this pair by about 0.3 of a second per lap. So look at the green missile that's coming as well, just in front of Sheldon van der Linde. Arndt Guven has got work cut out here in that red and blue number 24 Team Bernhard Porsche. It looks like he's struggling with grip a bit to me. It looks like he's understeering into the corners. He turns the wheel left or right in the car. It takes a while to react to it. The tyres maybe not at their best at the moment on that Porsche, so he's coming under more and more pressure from Patrick Niederhauser, who in turn is being caught by Dennis Olsen in the green Porsche, and
The number 1, Sheldon van der Linde, one of the 3 champions competing in DTM this year. Flashing the headlights is Dennis Olsen, the Norwegian. He knows how to win a race in DTM as well after his tremendous victory at Spa last year. He's really quick, isn't he? He's closing in on that Porsche and trying to get higher than 9th place. So here they come out of the banking over the start-finish line as we go into the final 15 minutes of the race.
And just ahead of them, Kelvin van der Linde has just recorded his fastest lap of the race, so he is closing in on Mauro Engel. So Kelvin van der Linde has not settled for 6th place yet by any stretch of the imagination. It feels like the whole field is compressing as we get towards the end of this race, with the exception of Ricardo Feller, 2.515. That is a comfortable lead in GT3 standards.
Yeah, he's doing well, isn't he? Controlling things. He's been on it all year long so far. I say all year, it's only the second weekend, but it's been a crammed couple of weekends of DTM action, hasn't it? I've loved coming back here to Zandvoort. First time the DTM has raced here for 5 years, since 2018, and I've got a feeling we might be back a bit more regularly after this, because it is a track that, to a man, all of the drivers that I've spoken to said they absolutely love racing around. It really tests their mettle, their concentration, and the balance of the cars. Old school, proper racetrack is a phrase that's been pretty common in the paddock this weekend.
Look at this fight for 7th place. Iron Chain Guven, once again, well, having said he looked a bit quicker, and now it looks like he's holding up Patrick Niederhauser. Dennis Olsen, Sheldon van der Linde, Mirko Bortolotti, and Christian Engelhardt will be in the background soon at this rate. But at the moment, these 4 are battling. I think if Thomas Preining, well, if Alan Changuven, if the gap appears on the inside of him, I think you're going to see the 3 cars behind all sailing through at the same time.
Yeah, that's what he's got to be mindful of. We've said it a few times this week, and we seen drivers lose a place, they lose 2, 3, 4 more places in very quick succession. It feels like Engine has responded to this a little bit, though, hasn't he? Yeah, he goes through with the 135.2. He's actually pulled away from them all at like 1/10 and a half or so on that lap. So good driving from Engine, who's looking to get his best results so far in his first full season of DTM. He made his debut last year as a guest driver at the Norris Ring, where there was a huge pile-up on the way into the first corner, or first hairpin there at the start of the first race of the weekend. Where are we going to next? Oh, that's right, the Norris Ring. There can't be any drama there, can there?
No, that'd be quiet. There'll be no damage either.
Look at Sheldon van der Linde then, flashing the headlights to the driver that's already flashing his headlights, trying to catch the back ahead. The BMW suddenly a bit closer to Dennis Olsen here.
Yes, Sheldon van der Linde, you discount him at your peril. He has been a man on a mission all morning. You do wonder, all afternoon, you do wonder what would have happened had he started and qualified further up the grid in this morning's qualifying session. But ifs and maybes and all the rest of it, he's got to deal with what he has at the moment, and it is 10th place. That BMW is looking very fast.
Apologies for the there's a pound of the swear box from Dennis Olsen. Not the first time we've had that. So I think what he was trying to say is I'm not very enamoured with the way the car is behaving and handling at the moment. But he used a much shorter word than that with less syllables in it.
Yes, car is jolly well not handling very well indeed. So Olsen in 9th place, clearly not happy. That message may well be relayed to Sheldon van der Linde, just to let him know he can probably see how well the car is handling. He's close enough behind him. Patrick Niederhauser up front. Well, he's pulled clear. Doesn't feel like Patrick Niederhauser is under any particular threat from Dennis Olsen at the moment. So Niederhauser can think about Iron Changuven now and see if he can find a route past that pesky Porsche that has been in front of him for ages.
Luca Engsler is the last of the point scorers at the moment in 15th place. He should be okay because there's a nearly 4-second gap back to David Schumacher, who's there in 16th place, and in turn there's a 3.5-second gap back to Tim Heinemann, 17th place, who's got Arjun Maini for company right now. So Tim Heinemann having that brilliant weekend at Oschersleben with 2 second-place finishes, walking away with the championship lead, the rookie driver. But the 2-time DTM trophy has seen the other side of DTM and just how tough it can be if you can't get the car quite underneath you and you can't qualify well. And he has struggled this weekend, and it looks like he's going to go from having 2 podiums to having 0 points, the polar opposite of the weekend he had at Oschersleben.
Yes, can you believe you are witnessing the fight for last place? And Arjun Maini, who was in the GT Masters at Hockenheim 2 weeks ago, looking to the inside, but these are the cars that are last in the race at the moment. Arjun Maini really wanting to get past, but what's the betting? This championship is going to go down to the last corner of the last race of the season because it's so close.
You can bet on it, can't you? There's going to be a handful of drivers still with a chance of a realistic chance of the title going into that final weekend when we get to Hockenheim at the end of the season. We don't want to think about that yet, though, the cold of October, because it's beautiful sunshine and summer weather here. But yeah, even out of the points, they're fighting hard, aren't they? Fighting for everything they can get, just in case somebody has a problem up ahead. You might just steal a point or so, and that might just be the difference at the end of the season. Right, firing up to the Rob Schlottermacher corner, named after the former, sadly passed away,
8 more laps.
Dutch driver.
8 more laps. TC 5-1. TC 5-1 if you struggle with tires.
So that sounds like traction control.
Yeah, really just starting to go away now.
Rear's falling away, setting 5.1, traction control. So it sounds like you've got the traction control back, at least, on Thomas Prining's car. So just managing it now, managing the tyres with that traction control so as not to lose the rears and the grip on those rear tyres anymore. But I would say he's looking in a comfortable position, really, because he's got a big gap of over 3 seconds back to his nearest rival, Lucas Stoltz. How about this, though, late in the race? I reckon Sheldon must have put new tyres on for the second half of this race, because he's just done the absolute best first sector time of the entire race in the #1 BMW as he continues to try and push after Dennis Olsen. Looking back at another rapid BMW is Lucas Stoltz with Marco Wittmann at arm's length for now as we go into this final few laps of the race. 8 minutes to go, 8 minutes 20 seconds left on the clock, plus 1 lap, and the top 3 looking fairly settled.
Yes, and Thomas Prining's handling woes will be great news to Ricardo Feller, who continues to stretch his legs at the front. Doing a good job, because he's not just going ballistic and disappearing off into the distance. He is saving something in the car, because, of course, if there was a safety car at this late stage in the race, and it could happen, it would be a real dash for the cash at the end. And you need to have rubber, you need to have some kind of grip to make it to the end. As Sheldon van der Linde continues to set faster sectors, that BMW is hooked up. At the moment in 10th place, Dennis Olsen needs to be looking over his shoulder, because that red and yellow BMW is going to be filling his mirrors in just a few moments.
So Ricardo Feller just did a 1:35.3. That's the race leader. Sheldon van der Linde just did a 1:35.5 in the end. So it's the lap started well, but fell away a little bit. Oh, Tim Heinemann with another grassy moment there. So he's fallen behind Arjun Maini now to the last of the runners and back to 18th place. But the quickest drivers on track at the moment who are hitting the 1:35.3s are Feller, the leader, Stoltz in 3rd place, and then in 6th place, Kelvin van der Linde. There was contact. That was why he ended up on the grass, the left rear corner of the Porsche, making contact with the front right of Arjun Maini's Mercedes.
And Maini's going to be lucky if he hasn't got any damage. Well, he has got damage, because we can see the bodywork damage there, but if he hasn't damaged the steering or damaged a tyre, he will be lucky. So he's through. He seems to be okay at the moment. Tim Heinemann, well, what a weekend he's having, and I'm wondering whether his earlier excursions might have damaged the car, because clearly he's not having the handling. Look at this, Marco Wittmann up with Lucas Stoltz. He's got his eyes on a podium position, hasn't he?
Yeah, maybe he's been saving something here, because he's just started to inch after Lucas Stoltz, hasn't he? And you know that if there's half a chance, Marco is going to throw caution to the wind. I'm not really bothered about 4th place. I want some silverware. I want the first podium, the first trophy for Project One. Fans watching, oh, look at that, he says. It's a rapid car. Super slow-mo of the wheel gun in action and of Maro Engel's pit stop. So quick, isn't it? 6, 7, 8 seconds to get that job done, working under pressure, working quickly, but not making a mistake.
I feel like we need classical music behind this. You see the wheel that goes bouncing across. It's like a ballet, isn't it? In slow motion. It is really quite majestic. This is such a rehearsed routine. They rehearse this time and time again, because every second counts.
Yeah, and you can see we're all lapping within a 10th or 2 in the top 10. If you lose 2 seconds in a pit stop, it could take 10 laps to get that, just to get that time back that you've lost. So it's a huge pressure on them to perform in those pit stops. They do a terrific job. Right, so here is Maro Engel still being shadowed by Kelvin van der Linde in the battle for 5th place. Here's the battle for 6th place. Guan still has got Niederhauser breathing down his neck. Olsen and van der Linde have fallen back a little bit now, I would say. This incident between Heinemann and Maini under investigation.
This is bullshit. It's the same as Fella yesterday. You guys, I will make it seriously, yeah?
Just take it seriously. Not fair.
I think Arjun Maini is not a member of the Tim Heinemann fan club.
Bagsy, I get to take the swear box home with me because there's a lot in it today, I'll tell you. The front of the car is damaged on that Mercedes after that incident, but you can tell how het up he is. You see the bonnet lifting slightly as well, but yes, damage to the right front. That's not going to help the aerodynamics of that car, is it?
No, Arjun's had a tough start to the season. He's a top bloke, is Arjun Maini. He's got a lot of time from him. He's always willing to have a chat in the paddock, and he's got a very happy, positive demeanour normally. But yesterday, I saw him looking really down in the dumps when he was doing the post-race interviews. I think he's just about had enough of being in battles and contact this weekend, and you can see blew a gasket there on the team radio after that incident with Tim Heinemann. So apologies if you're offended by the language, but I imagine you can understand the pressures that these drivers are going through in this championship. So Arjun not very happy, but at least he's well, no, he's been dropped behind Tim Heinemann now again, hasn't he? Down to 18th place. So point looking unlikely now with less than 4 minutes on the clock. There's the race leader coming through, Ricardo Feller. Thomas Priding in second, about to leap up into the championship lead. Lucas Stoltz about to get his first podium since the Red Bull Ring last year. He's there in third position, looking for his 5th DTM podium, if he can fend off Marco Wittmann.
Well, the first three looking pretty solid at the moment, and it's going to take something of an upset, well, the first two to change, but Marco Wittmann, having closed in on Lucas Stoltz so quickly, maybe he is going to do something. He's only got, well, less than 3.5 minutes plus 1 lap in which to do it. Kelvin van der Linde still shadowing yesterday's winner, Mauro Engel, who will be mighty pleased to dump that success penalty in a hedge somewhere after this race is finished, I've no doubt. But Kelvin van der Linde could make it up to 5th. Marco Wittmann could make it up to 3rd. Time is running out, though.
Yeah, I think Mauro Engel will be pretty satisfied, actually, with that 20 kg of success ballast on board to be in 5th place. You tell somebody at the start of the weekend, you're going to get pole, you're going to get a win, you're going to get another top 3 in qualifying, you're going to get a 5th place finish in race 2. They absolutely snap your hand off at that this season, wouldn't they? So it's been a really good points haul for Mauro Engel. He's going to be one of the top point scorers this weekend after that 1st and 5th, and all the points he picked up in qualifying as well, which really did make a difference at the end of the season. Priding then coming through. Here's this battle still for 3rd place. Marco Wittmann can get close. He can hang on to the back of the Mercedes, but he can't quite get that BMW close enough to have a launch under braking. All he can do really is keep the pressure up here and trying to force the mistake from Lucas Stoltz. And if he can't force a mistake, at least force Luca to drive that Mercedes flat out and use its tyres up.
Yeah, what has he got up his green sleeves that he can throw at the car in front in just 2 minutes plus 1 lap? He's further back coming out of Lyondike along the pit straight, so not close enough to make a move. And it does look as though Lucas Stoltz has the legs into turn 1. He has the grunt into the corner. Marco Wittmann is able to close up during the back part of the circuit, but can't really do much in the very part where he needs to, where the overtaking opportunities are.
Well, if it stays like this so far this season, we will have had a win for Lamborghini, a win for Porsche, a win yesterday for Mercedes, and a win today, it looks like, for Audi in the first 4 rounds of the championship. That tells you that this is going to be wide open this season. Tells you that they've got something pretty well sorted in and spot on with the BOP this year as well. Right on board with Marco Wittmann, looking through the front grille of that BMW M4 GT car. You can see Lucas Stoltz working hard with the Mercedes up ahead, dancing and skipping over the curbs in the number 4 car. But he's on the edge, but not out of control. Is he doing a great job here? He's having to be flat out, though, isn't he? Just to keep the 2-time champion behind him. But you look at the onboard camera there, looking at Lucas Stoltz. The eyes flick towards the mirrors every other second, don't they?
He's got to keep the concentration up. He's so close now, but it would be so easy just to make a mistake, to get a bit of dirt or gravel on those tyres, and suddenly he will leave himself open to attack. I think he just needs to hold it together, stay on the racing line, not make any mistakes, and this is going to be a great result for Lucas Stoltz.
Yeah, and a great result for HRT, Hubert Haupt's team, because those that team had to work really, really hard, didn't they, to replace the car after a crash in testing on Thursday at Oschersleben, and they're on the back foot all weekend there. I know they were working late into the night to get his spare car prepped, and it was in the end for very little reward, with retirements then coming his way. So Lucas Stoltz about to put a smile on the faces and reward all of that hard work that's been going on this season for the HRT squad. but he wants it to be third, not fourth. And to do that, he's going to have to work very hard in these closing stages. The clock has now ticked down to 0 on the 60 minutes. Riccardo Feller, he's up at turn 7, and about to be into turn 7 is this squabble for third place between Stolz and Wittmann, who is looking more and more pressing.
So Feller and Preining pretty solid in their positions. It's all to play for, but still Wittmann will need a mistake. So as Riccardo Feller heads up towards turn 10 at the moment, it is about a lap and a half of this race remaining. A lap and a half for Marco Wittmann to think of something to get past that yellow Mercedes in front of him. Well, he hasn't managed it for about the last 10 minutes. I don't see what he's going to do differently in the next lap and a half. Is he backing off because he's winding himself up for one more attack, or has he settled for second place? Does a driver ever settle for second place? I can't imagine Marco Wittmann's doing that.
Arjun Maini has been given a warning for pushing another car off the track with that incident with Heinemann, so that was cheering him up no end there in 18th place. Here he is though, Riccardo Feller looks in the mirrors. Where's everybody gone, he says. He's 2.7 seconds clear. It's not going to be the winning margin that we had yesterday for Maro Engel, but it's going to be a pretty healthy one as he goes onto the final lap of the race here at Zandvoort. He can afford just to take it easy now, relatively, if you can do that at 260 kilometres an hour, as we see Preining in second start the final lap of the race, and this battle for third then going out of Tarzan for the final time at speed. There's about 4 kilometres left for Marco Wittmann to try and find a way past this Mercedes for the final spot on the podium.
Up into the high turn 3 banking. This is an opportunity, albeit a small one, but he's still too far back. And it looks like Stolz has got this one sewn up. And it continue for the very last time up the rise of the track towards turn 6, towards turn 7, then the big drop back down again, and then it's uphill towards turn 8. But no real overtaking opportunities here. Those opportunities have passed, and the crowd that are gathered, are squeezed in here at Zandvoort, are being entertained by this battle for third place. But for my money, it's not going to go any further.
No, it's been really good defensive driving this from Lucas Stolz under enormous pressure. He's not left a gap, he's not made a mistake, and he's kept it on the limit, and he's kept his concentration up. And you can't, it's always harder to be chased than to be the pursuer. And he's done a terrific job here, flashing the lights, but almost half-heartedly now you sense is Marco Wittmann. No, it's never really half-hearted with Marco, it's always 100%, but I think he's quite going to do it, is he? As we've got the race leader about to go into the final corner at turn 14. The checkered flag awaits. Here he is, Riccardo Feller,
well
top fella. You're a winner here at Zandvoort.
You need to pick up.
Second place goes to Thomas Preining, and I reckon the championship lead by my maths. And third, and the first podium of the year for Lucas Stolz.
Good job, everyone.
Good job, everyone. That's an understatement, isn't it, Riccardo? Perfect job. And it all started, didn't it, this morning when they got him out at the end of the pit lane for qualifying. If they hadn't done that, he might not have won today.
We were talking about qualifying this morning, and we said being at the front at the end of the pit lane was going to be an advantage, and Riccardo Feller has certainly proven that point. He got out in front and had the clear track, and he's converted that into a fantastic afternoon for the number 7 Abt Sportsline team. The first win of the season for Audi as well. This is so competitive and so close. The DTM Race 4 of a 16-race season, and Riccardo Feller, the Swiss driver, who takes the honours for Abt Sportsline on the cool-down lap, picking up the rubber. Weight is important on these cars, so driving offline to pick up the rubber off the side of the track onto the tyres.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly what they're doing. Just absolutely make sure they haven't used too much fuel up and dip beneath the minimum weight limit. The cars will be weighed at the end. They collect the loose rubber. That will add a fair bit of weight onto the cars. It's a used, tried and proven technique that they all use, but that will feel like a lovely slowdown lap for Riccardo Feller and everybody at Abt Sportsline with their drivers and teams' first win of the season, and also good points for the team with Kelvin van der Linde battling 6th place as well from his grid position. I'm sure he'd have had another top 5 or 6 finish at least yesterday without that penalty as well. So there he is. He'll have given a wave to his teammate Riccardo Feller as he went past. They raced together last season. Ronnie Rasticals was a teammate to Riccardo last year, and this was the moment that he crossed the line to take his 2nd win in the DTM. Second driver this weekend to take a 2nd DTM career victory after Maro Engel managed to do it yesterday. No 6-year wait, though, for Ricardo Feller. He's had to wait just about 10 months between races. And we know he's a proven winner here at Zandvoort in GT Masters and in the GT World Challenge. And, well, what would you say earlier? Every time he starts from pole position, he wins races.
Especially in the hot sunshine. Defending champion Sheldon van der Linde, 10th place. Well, it's points, probably not as many as he would have liked. The driver coming into this weekend, Tim Heinemann, finished in 17th, our championship leader coming in.
Confirmation of the results. Feller, Preining and Stoltz on the podium. Wittmann in 4th, Engel 5th, Kelvin van der Linde 6th, Guven in 7th, Niederhauser with his best results so far in 8th, Olsen and Sheldon van der Linde rounding out the top 10. Mirko Bortolotti continues to pick up points in every race so far this season. A better day, not a great day, but a better day for Christian Engelhardt in 12th. Matteo Drudi as well picking up points with 13th place. From Pereira, who led the championship before that race, in 14th place. Luca Engstler, the last of the points finishers, and there are quite a few retirees, as you saw, including both of the Ferraris from the 4th race of the season here at Zandvoort. So into the winners' arena comes number 7, Ricardo Feller. If you just edge the angle off the top of that number and turn it into a number 1 next year, be very, very happy about that, wouldn't he? It'd be quite a cost-saving measure, that. Wouldn't even need to get any more race stickers.
Just put a bit of gaffer tape on it. That's what they've got lots of anyway, isn't it? You see Porsche livery on Thomas Preining's car, celebrating 75 years of Porsche sports. But Audi are the manufacturers who are going to be cheering here, because it's Audi who take their first win of the season.
Absolutely right. So huge congratulations to Ricardo Feller, the race winner. Thomas Preining in 2nd and Lucas Stoltz in 3rd. So it's Audi, Porsche and Mercedes all represented on the podium. Great job done as well by the Mantide team to recover their pit stops after difficult pit stops for Thomas Preining. Cost him serious points at Oschersleben. He's pleased with that, and we saw the celebrations in the garage with Nicholas Roeder and the team. So there you go, 55 points for Thomas Preining, the new championship leader. Ricardo Feller has crept ahead of From Pereira as well, 51 points. Down to 3rd for From Pereira on 50 points as well. What a difference a race makes. So From Pereira was the championship leader after the first race of the season. Then it was Tim Heinemann. Then it was From Pereira again. And now it's Thomas Preining. So it's all smiles down there in the pit lane. Let's get some of the reaction with Verena.
And I've got the man here who managed to get 2nd place, Thomas Preining, and he's also the leader of the championship. So Thomas over here, he's still a bit, Thomas? Right, so he's still busy doing something, but obviously he looks excited about his 2nd place, and off he runs. But I'm going to try my best to grab him in just a second. Back to you.
Thanks, Verena. Oh, come on, Thomas. Where are you off to? He's so excited. He's forgot to go and speak to Verena. She'll get him. She'll get her man. Don't worry about it. So we'll hear from Thomas Preining very shortly, I'm sure. There is a super slow-mo of him in action. 2 podiums now. Hasn't quite got that win this season, but he's got the biggest thing that you can have at the end of the weekend, which is the championship lead. Remember, he was close to fighting for that championship title last season. Right, 2nd time lucky. I think Verena has found him and has collared him this time.
This time I'm holding on to him. So here he is, Thomas Preining. Congratulations, 2nd place. And also we just found out championship leader. So hello, from here on it can only go forward.
Yeah, thank you. Definitely not the way we expected the weekend to go. Even today the pace was not amazing, but we just maximized everything we had, and on both races this weekend the team actually did the best job in the pits. So yesterday we gained I think 5 positions, and today we gained the 1 position that counted. So huge thank you to the team. We're putting in an unbelievable amount of work into this project, and it's really nice to see that we're bearing results.
Absolutely. And now off you go for the champagne shower. Thank you so much, Thomas. Back to you.
Thanks, Verena. Well done. You managed to get hold of him. And yes, I don't think you'd have really believed that when I spoke to him yesterday after qualifying 10th, that you'd walk away, Tommy, with the championship lead. But that's exactly what he's done. And it's that consistency and that good teamwork, as he said, in the pits. And the points racked up that have all helped him to do that, albeit by just 5 points. So that's going to be his 6th podium already in DTM. Out of 19 races in DTM, that's not a bad record, is it? Almost a third of the time that Tommy Preining starts a DTM race, he manages to get up onto the podium, the former Porsche Carrera Cup Deutschland champion of 2018, which was the year that we were last here with the DTM. But he's a superstar, and first came across him when he was racing in the Rotax Max Euro Karting Challenge and dominated that season, won all the rounds that year as a 14-year-old, and it's been great to see him flourish and progress into a top Porsche racer. So they're trying to get a bit of shading our top three. I think it looks like Martin Tomczyk, former DTM champion, is going to come up and collect the trophy for the team for Abt Sportsline, who are our winning team. So the Drivers' Championship we know about, and of course there's also the Teams and Manufacturers' Championship, which is going to be hard fought this season. SSR Performance, before the start of the weekend, led the Teams' Championship from Topsport and Manto, but Manto are going to be right up there with them as well. And Lamborghini led the manufacturers' standings from Porsche and Mercedes coming into this weekend. Right, the podium presentation's underway. It's great to see Luca Stolz up there as well. The very quiet, unassuming driver. He's a heck of a driver, isn't he? And after their trials and tribulations at Oschersleben, a good reward for Hubert Haut's team, as I say, to get up their first silverware of the year. Thomas Preining then very happy with second place. Much happier with this second place than he was with his third place at Oschersleben, that is for sure. It's all smiles for Ricardo Feller, our fourth different race winner of the year. Thoroughly deserved, and well done to the team, because they helped make that happen with A, all the work they did in qualifying, and B, the great work during the race itself. So the winning team are Abt Sportsline, and it is Martin Tomczyk who comes up. He had a role within the DTM last year, but he's now switched across to work with the Abt Sportsline team. A DTM champion himself. He'll be there, and he'll be there to enjoy the Swiss national anthem, which is about to play for Ricardo Feller. It's very soothing, the Swiss national anthem, isn't it? It's
really
a moment of calm and reflection amongst all the chaos. We could have done with that, playing with those slow-mos in the middle of the race, couldn't we?
Makes me want to go skiing, it really does.
Ferhat Aslanoglu is going to present the trophy to our winner first. And there he is. We always get the format and shape of the track on the trophies this year as well. Right. So holding it above his head is Ricardo Feller. That one's going straight to the top of the mantelpiece, and hoisting his second place trophy aloft after getting the championship lead, Thomas Preining. We get our third place trophy coming the way of Luca Stolz as well. Well done to Luca. Great drive to fend off Marco Wittmann for lap after lap in the second half of that race. He's not the first driver this weekend to have that BMW filling the mirrors, is he?
No, and he did a great job just not making any mistakes, keeping it on the line, keeping it all together. Brilliant stuff. And there, the trophy to the Abt team. Yeah, the team chief, Martin Tomczyk, gets the trophy. He's got a few of his own, hasn't he, from his own very successful racing career. And Frank Verl, the former football player, it was that presented the trophy. So they're on the raised podium with all the teams down below to cheer them on. They make their way onto the top step. And then it's champagne time. If they can open the champagne bottle as eloquently as Maro Engel did yesterday, they'll be on to a winner. And no, different style this time. It's going to be a bit wetter, though, up there on the podium this time, because they're not going to worry about racing tomorrow. They can enjoy themselves up there and cool down a bit as well. I suspect they might be swigging a bit out of that bottle, because that must have been roasting in the cars, mustn't it, Brian? I think there might be some sore heads in the Abt Sportline team tomorrow morning. They haven't got anything to do tomorrow, surely, have they? They're by the beach. They're at Zandvoort in the Netherlands, in the sunshine. It's going to be party central tonight. It's a pretty party-like before the race even started.
It was indeed, yeah. It's almost like being on holiday here, isn't it? As Verena said to Ricardo Feller on the grid. It's not light work, this, but there you go. Confirmation of the points. Thomas Preining 4 clear of Ricardo Feller, who moves up to second place. Franck Pereira, 50 points, drops to third. Maro Engel, fourth on 40 points. Tim Heinemann didn't score a single point this weekend, but he's still in the top 5 in the championship. Mirko Bortolotti has scored points in all 4 races so far and is in 6th place on 37, just ahead of Christian Engelhardt. Sheldon van der Linde improving his performances and results this weekend up into the top 10 in the championship as well, and just outside the top 10 in the championship after a good 6th place finish there, his brother Kelvin van der Linde. But already you can see the absentee, or one of the absentees this weekend, René Rast, down to 19th place in the championship. He's going to have to catch them all up, isn't he, when he comes back next time out at the Norris Ring. So there, the rest of the results for this, points-wise, this second weekend of DTM. And we can go back down to the pit lane now and catch up with Verena Reed.
And here I am with the winner of the race. Congratulations, Riccardo Feller. You really did it from pole position. You transformed it into a victory. It's your second victory in DTM. So how excited are you?
Yeah, I'm very excited. I'm very happy. Like I said before, the team did a great job overnight, and I was not expecting that we can drive it home so safe. So the race was a bit boring even at one point, but it's the good kind of boring. So yeah, I'm really happy, and tonight we celebrate a bit and then we come back to Norris Ring.
You had a very comfortable lead, and as you said, it was almost a bit boring, but is that how you really felt inside of the car? Or is it always as a driver you're thinking, oh, what if something goes wrong, my tire and this and that?
No, I'm fully concentrated and trying all the best all the time, and sometimes I even hear things in the car which are not really there. Like one point I thought, oh, I have a tire puncture, but then it wasn't. It was just some dirt on track or something. Like, you really want to just that everything goes smooth and that you can bring it to the line, and yeah, today it worked out.
You did it. Congratulations, Riccardo. Thank you so much. And let me just grab Luca Stolz. Congratulations. Oh, I need to be smaller than you. There you go. Congratulations. You did a great race. How happy are you about third place?
Yeah, really happy, and a lot of credits to the team because they made the difference today. Kind of had a hard week in Oschersleben, and it's good to fight back, definitely.
I was just going to say, I think twice you lost your car in Oschersleben, and now it's perfect. So now looking forward to Norris Ring?
Yeah, definitely. I hope we can keep the run, and yeah, really looking forward to the next races now. I think we as a team improved a lot, and yeah, thanks to the guys today. Awesome pit stop and good strategy, and yeah, luckily we have a podium.
All right, congratulations, Luca. And we will see you in 2 weeks at the Norris Ring. We're very excited to, for the third race weekend of the season. And now here are the highlights of Zandvoort, and we're going to enjoy some of the sunshine. So see you in 2 weeks. Bye-bye.